some stuff happened in that relationship with my son's dad. We were on and off for a long time, and it caused PTSD, and to the point where I was not able to go to work without like being afraid to come home. I would start shaking. I was afraid. I felt like I was always walking on eggshells, and that say one wrong thing, he's gonna get triggered, and then he's gonna be mean, and then if he's mean, he's gonna ruin your night, and if he ruins your night, your week's gonna be ruined, so you're gonna get really depressed again. So I was like always dreading that moment, and like sometimes like he'd just be in one of his moods, and I would come home and I'd say like, "Hey honey, do you want dinner?" "What?" And I was like, and just that tone would just like put me to feeling like this. And my whole body would like do this. And then like I'd wake up sometimes in the middle of the night and my hands would be like in fists. And my toes would be like curled because like I was having panic attacks in my sleep. And that's one of the things that you were addressing with the gabapentin. So I started gabapentin when I had the PTSD. And again, that was like life-changing. And I mean, anyone I tell that I take gabapentin to, that's like a professional, they're like, "Oh, that's a really strong medication. Wow. Why are you on that?" And it kind of makes me feel weird. Like, oh, really? Because when I take it, I feel totally normal. Like, I don't feel like I'm on anything. It actually just makes that self-doubt, that ruminating, that worrying, that this like chatter like this in your head just stop. And then I could just be Morgan because that noise isn't there. And I'm telling you, no matter how much yoga I did, how much meditation I did, how many Vipassana yoga sittings I did, when you go on these 10-day retreats and you don't talk and you're like meditating in a monastery and you can't talk, you can't journal. I mean, I did everything you can imagine. Like I've been to treatment 3 different times for eating disorders, still came back. Like everything was just, I felt defeated because I felt like no matter how hard I tried, and how much I tried, it wasn't good enough. And it was like that same story I always had anyways, which is you're not good enough. Now, no matter how much I'm trying, it's still not good. Like, it's like, I might as well just fucking jump off a cliff then, but I mean, obviously I would never do that. I'm a mom, but it's like, you just get those hopeless. And like, for me, like one of the things that my mom always said, and my friends and people that know me, is like, I'm tenacious. When I want something, I go for it. And when I believe in something, I fight for it till it's just not fightable anymore. And so for me to not have that tenacity and not to have that willingness to keep going, I don't know. It's like, who are you right now? And so the only side effect I would say that I don't like about the gabapentin is I'm not as like hardcore. And I kind of liked that.
Takes the edge away a little bit.
Yeah, like I don't like push myself to work out super hard. I'm not like going for that crazy run, even though I'm exhausted. Like I'm just like, I want to chill tonight. But like I had no chill.
But don't you adjust the dose? So you take less when you take more in certain times.
Yeah,
less in other times too.
Yeah, like for me personally, because I'm small, like I think like 300 milligrams is great in the morning. Sometimes I'll take like 600 at night. And that's after I did a whole day. Like my son's home, we're about to have dinner, and I'm trying to wind down at like 6:00. So by 11, I could go to sleep.
Right.
And that seems to be fine for me. And it kind of feels like you kind of smoked a little weed, which I kind of like because smoking weed hurts my lungs. And so to like take that, it just makes you feel calm, like just chill. And I mean, I just remember in the past, like my previous boyfriends, like it was like a repeated thing that they would say, "Babe, you never just want to sit and cuddle. Like, babe, will you just sit down and stop cleaning?" I was super OCD. So I was like always like obsessively. I'd be like, "Oh," like this, or like someone's like eating and I'm like, "Oh, are you done? Let me like wash your dish for you." And it's like extremely annoying. But I didn't think it was annoying. I thought I was so like cute and organized, but it was not cute. I don't do that anymore. And so my house, like right now, has some dishes in the sink. So, but back then that was like, oh my God, I can't leave to Dr. Corona's. I have dishes. And then I'd be late here and I'd miss my whole interview. And so it was bad. Like everywhere I'd go, I was late because everything had to be done before I left the house. And there was so much to do because I'm alone. And it's like, it's all on me, and so that pressure in itself is a lot. Like if you don't do this, Logan doesn't get picked up. If you don't do this, Armand will be upset. If you don't do this, like you'll be upset. Like there's always all these things to do. And it was like to juggle all that and self-care. It's like where do you get the time, But gabapentin like made that time I don't know how it does that, but it works for me.
Yeah, and if it flattens you out, maybe just again, it's like a dosage thing. Maybe a little bit too much then, and maybe you can take more in the evening because it's okay because you're winding down. But I think with you, see what you said a little bit ago. You said, I don't know if it's really me because I'm taking medications. Well, I mean that's like telling a diabetic that you're not the real you because you're on insulin. Or someone with a thyroid condition, you're not the real you because you take a thyroid supplement. It's totally the real you. Remember, all these medications are doing is balancing your own neurochemicals. In your case, what happened was Prestige ended up being a little bit too intense, so we switched to Cymbalta.
Yeah, I love Cymbalta.
So Cymbalta is a little bit more serotonin, a little bit less norepinephrine boosting, and that's why a little bit more mellow than Prestige is, which, usually more of my patients are on Prestige. And then I added some Wellbutrin in the morning.
Yeah, because my depression came back.
And the depression came back, so I put some Wellbutrin and that boosted dopamine, and that got you out of that.
That really helped big time. Yeah, because like when we decided that, I remember like the symptoms I was experiencing was like lack of motivation, energy, big time, or like, I have to do this. I don't feel like, it's too much.
Right.
Yeah. And like, I just thought, what is wrong with me? And then I like came to you and I was like, honestly, like, and the suicidal thoughts are coming back. 2 years ago, I was suggested by my dad, who had a client whose daughter did this for suicidal depression, non-responsive depression, because we were trying, it was helping, but I would still get these, like, it was always around like holidays, which are hard for me because I'm always like, my family's really small and I don't have siblings. So like, and my kid will be with their dad and then I'm just like alone. Like if I don't have a boyfriend, I'm not in a relationship and my best friends are with their families, like I'd be alone. And then I would feel all this like feeling of just failure. Like you're a loser, you have kids, you have no husband. Like, my head just beats me down and it just wouldn't go away. And it was like, stop. Okay, I know you're there. And like, one of the things like you taught me and my other counselor taught me is it sounds kind of crazy, but it works. Like you talk to your depression. Like, so when it goes like, oh, you're not good enough. Like, yeah, I am. Shut up. And you just like kind of talk to it. And you're like, oh, I hear you. You're there, anxiety. I know you're there, but I'm still going to do my day to day. You can join me or not. I don't care. But I didn't want you here, but you're here, whatever. So like we make a joke out of it instead of like letting it be this like giant entity you're scared of. But the ketamine was really mainly for the suicidal depression stuff because it wouldn't go away. It was just every year it would just like hit me. And it like you were saying, it's like some things you can't like escape. It's like if you're at home and you're alone, you can't like change that. You can try to talk yourself through it. The medications are helping, but it's still there because your life's there.
And the ketamine helped?
It changed my life.
Yeah. And we've already talked on the show about ketamine. Actually, I had a doctor coming on who works with ketamine, and it's pretty well known now. Elon Musk's used ketamine for his depression, so it's gotten very well known, and it's really gotten very acceptable now as a treatment. But some people, like I said, I mean, I see with you're I call you 4 out of 4. So Cymbalta balance and boosts the serotonin, norepinephrine. Wellbutrin focuses on dopamine. Gabapentin works on GABA. So all those 3 are boosting those 4 chemicals. I also have you on Vyvanse, which is basically a mellower form of Adderall. That's why it's better because it's long acting but it's smoother. So you're on a pretty low dose of Vyvanse in the morning. That takes care of your ADD. So you got a mix of those 4. But that's don't ever feel like, oh, that's so many medications. No, it's not. You with every one of my patients, it's got to be the right mix. But even though I have you on a good mix, some people, like I said, there's still something missing, And in your case, I think it's great that ketamine works for you. I don't think you should be embarrassed about that at all. I mean, it has worked for some of my patients for sure.
Yeah, like I remember it was really strange. So like they did the IV therapy and it was for 2 times a week for an hour. And you'd wear these like headphones and an eye mask, and it was in Laguna Beach. And you go in there and the doctors put like, EKGs on you and they like monitor your heart. So like I'm safe. So now you can let go of control and just let it do whatever it's going to do. And I had no idea what to expect. I'd never done that before. I was just like, whatever will fix me, I'll try it at this point. because it's been way too long that this has been happening, and it was just starting to scare me, and I didn't want those thoughts there anymore. So I just thought we'd try it out, and I did the interview with the psychiatrist on the phone. They approve you. They got approval through you, and then we went ahead and did it, and I think it was 4 weeks. And it was like twice a week for an hour for 4 weeks. And they did the maximum dose for me towards the end. They said I'm tolerating it a lot better than a lot of patients. And I'm having really good breakthroughs each time. So they upped it to the max that could be for my weight. And I just remember this one time, I thought I had mold in my bloodstream from mold spores being like in my environment in my last house. It was really gross. My naturopathic doctor found it in my bloodstream. And so I was like, in the back of my head, I was always worried that I was dying of like mold poisoning and like shutting down. And so I literally turned into a mold spore. Like, you lose touch with like being a human being. It was the weirdest thing. Like, at one point, I remember like, I didn't know if I was still breathing, and I just like barely was able to move my hand. And I just did this, and I could feel, but I didn't even know as a person. Like, you lose touch. It disassociates you so much that like, you're just nothing. And then the sounds of nature is what I listened to. Was like just nature sounds, and then the sounds just became like this visual, and it became like, and what it just taught me is like, you're your own mother. Like, you can mother yourself. You don't need to look outside for someone to nurture you, someone to fix you, someone to soothe you. You're your own mother. And like, I turned into like a seashell. Like, it was just really strange. But for 6 months after that, I didn't like how I felt, to be quite honest with you. I felt very slow. I was hungrier, which anyone with an eating disorder, body image issues, doesn't like that. So like, my appetite increased, and I didn't like that. And I just felt kind of weird. And I talked to one of my good friends, Tracy Bauer. She's a really renowned trainer here in Orange County, and she's my mentor. And she's also done it and really liked it. And she said, your brain's like literally recircuiting itself right now. So that's why you're tired, because it's doing a lot of healing. That freeway that was like all like congested in there is like now re-networking. And I don't know if it's true, if it's not true, but it seems like it did something, because up until recently, I have not had any dark thoughts like that. Recently, it's come back, and it's been 2 years. So it's lasted 2 years. And they did say like every year you can come back for like a reboot, they call it, and you just go in for like an hour infusion. But it's pretty expensive. It's like $700.
It's very expensive.
Yeah.
They have a
like,
nasal. They also have a nasal spray now too for it, and you got to be careful with it. You know, you can't do too much. I mean, Matthew Perry, overdosed, but he was.
I didn't think you could overdose on it.
Well, he did. You know, he was taking ridiculous amounts. And then he died from it, So but that's, what you were on was a controlled setting. Yeah. And sometimes like psilocybin, I've talked to an expert on the show about psilocybin. That I've seen that in some patients. What I tell people with some of these alternative type things is, look, if I've done what I've done, and I've gotten you as far as I can get you, and they're still not quite there, I think some of these alternative methods have been very helpful for some people.
I personally am a big fan of psilocybin and DMT, dimethyltryptophan, and
DMT.
Yeah, I don't know if this is about to talk about, but so
no, that's right.
I
a lot of
used
people
a
do
vape
it.
pen, and I've never smoked it. That kind of just freaks me out, but because I don't know how much, I don't know what, but like the vape pen, it's like a gram, and you buy it, and then it's like you're supposed to take 3 long, slow puffs, and you hold it in.
Is that the DMT or the
DMT? And so I did that before the ketamine, and I had a lot of healing from that. Extremely healing. I was trying to address the suicidal thoughts, and like it was like a void. Like, I would describe like the way I experience loneliness as like a inverted triangle. Like, what am I doing? Okay, so God, what is wrong with me? Okay, so like this. Okay, so like you're walking here, and then all of a sudden it just goes down, and like all you see is nothing. Like, you're just stuck in this pit, and it's just heavy, dark, and it encompasses you. And that's what happened to me. It would just be like, and like, I would not be able to go to work. I would not be able to drive. I'd have to pull over because I get like panic attacks and like depression. And I would overthink everything and just think, why bother? I'm just going to quit. I failed. I ruined this. Like, this isn't what you're meant to do, whatever. So I would just like I was like the queen of self-sabotage. I'm so thankful Today, I don't do that. I don't like today, this week has been a lot, and I've had a lot going on, some personal matters, and my son's school and my other son's school and life. But the old me would have just canceled. I can't do this. It's too much. I can't handle. That was my motto. It was like, I can't handle this. I can't do this. I need help. And I'd quit. You're not capable. But I didn't do that this week. I did it all anyways. And I'm going to do this. Good job, Morgan. Because I never self-appreciate. Like, I just keep going like a robot. But like, it's really important, I think, for everyone to just slow down and like tell yourself, I'm doing a good job. You know, good job today. Like, even if it's just normal people stuff, like being on time. Maybe you never were on time. So for you, you're on time all the time now. Great job. And back to like the DMT, I would just say that it's not for everyone. You know, I definitely think if you have, you know, psychiatrist, a doctor, consult with someone that's open-minded to integrative medicine about it first, or a shaman, you know, somebody, or like an experienced practitioner, like a friend that's done it that you trust. The most important thing is to do it either with someone you feel safe around that can just kind of sit there and be like your guide. They don't have to be a shaman or like some guru. No, they're going to sit with you and be that safe person where if you start to have like a little anxiety, they can just like, hey, it's all good. Hey, I'm right here. You know, and just be your safe space. I personally did it a lot by myself. I'd make like my little yoga rituals in my room and have my crystals out, my incense. I'd play some like drumming music, or Stephen Halpern, I think his name is. He's a really good yoga meditator, and he has some beautiful harmonic sounds that just kind of put your brain into like a peaceful mindset. And I would just close my eyes and I would just start it by saying like, Aya, show me where I am blocked. Show me what I'm missing. I don't know what to do. And I wouldn't have any control. And I would just say, show me. And it would guide me. And I did that. And then I would use mushrooms the same way. But I was very like particular about it. I wanted them to be like a medicinal thing. It wasn't a party thing to me. I never mixed it with alcohol or marijuana. I would use it in controlled amounts, and I would do it the same way. Or with a very close friend who also wants to do like a healing together. But it was very beautiful, the things you learn about yourself and life. And you kind of realize like we're all just trying to figure it out. Like, I'm not better than anyone else. No one else is better than anybody. The guy that's homeless on the side of the street versus you. Like, you're all just people trying to survive this crazy freaking world. And everyone's trying to go to the same place. Happiness, interconnection. Like, we want to be connected. But, like, there's all this judgment, battling, you know, status, this, that. But those are all fallacies. They're not real. Like, we're just human beings trying to survive, you know? So I really try to look at things with an open mind and hear perspectives and view people as just people, not based off their looks, their money, their job, their car, like whatever, their status doesn't matter. Like, it's just, let's all just be kind, you know? And we all fall short of that at times. You know, it can be like mean or rude, but just catch yourself and, you know, put yourself in check. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, kind of thing. And yeah, I'm very happy with the medication I'm on now. Like I said, I'm stable, I'm calm, I'm able to keep friendships, keep jobs, healthy relationships. With my kids, I never snap at them or yell. Like, when I was a really young mom, like, I would get really overwhelmed and just be like, okay, you know, because like my brain was doing this all day. And then like my kids would be like, mama, and then you just like explode. But like now, like, I don't even raise my voice. And it's like, I don't remember that girl. Like,
well, when you balance your chemicals, you become more in control. See, people have this notion, I don't want to be controlled by medications.
Yeah.
That's not what they do. They put you in control, that you feel you're more like your old self, or your true self is the way I look at it. It's the true Morgan. It's the real Morgan. And the real Morgan, when you feel stronger from within, you're able to, when stressors happen or things happen, you're able to more likely calms it down. Okay, it's not that big a deal. I can get through it, rather than boom, reacting.
Yeah, the impulsivity is not.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not impulsive like I used to be.
Right.
That was actually, like, now that you brought that up, that was like something I really had a hard time with. I think my older son, he was ADHD for sure. But he's like a little athlete. He plays soccer and he's at great grades, and he might not have ADHD.
Who's Logan?
This is Armand.
Oh, Armand.
Yeah, this kid's like athlete and really good grades. Logan's just a little ball of love. He's just like
That's my son's name is Logan.
That's so
cute.
Our
Getting married next week.
Oh, really? How old's your son?
28.
Wow.
Yeah, getting married.
Congratulations. That'll be
Thank
exciting.
you. Yeah.
Good for him.
Thank you.
You're a great dad.
So,
Dr. Kroner is a great mentor.
Oh, thank you.
Really, you've been a second dad to me, not in a weird way, but like, like I admire you. I look up to you. You have great boundaries. You're very professional, but you're like loving, you're caring. You just have like a big heart, and it shows,
Well, that's what drew me into this area of medicine. Initially, I was a family doctor for years, but it just, what drew me into this medicine is it was getting deeper connections with my patients than just say, here's an antibiotic, here's a blood pressure medication, here's a cholesterol medication. I liked being a family doctor. But when I got into mental health, which is really physical health, the mind's an organ. It's an organ like everything else. I just really started seeing like I could do more for people. I could help change lives. And I wasn't seeing as a family doctor that same excitement of, oh, I'm changing a life here. Well, you help save lives and all that. But I was really seeing in mental health that just, it was so much more interesting to me, so much more impacting. I really felt that I could connect deeper with patients at a deeper level. And as a doctor, that's what you want. As a doctor, you want to help your patients. You want to, and I didn't see any other area of medicine that was even close to this as far as being able to do that for people. And you, you've gone through quite a lot in your life. You've had a lot of trauma and a lot of problems, and the relationship issues, which we talked about a lot. But
I think I have a broken picker. But we're working on rewiring that.
Yeah. And I'm not a psychologist, but I play a psychologist on TV. So, but I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist, but I kind of do a little bit of therapy in my own way.
Definitely.
So just getting to know people instead of like, I'm a doctor. Here's a pill. Take it. A lot of psychiatrists do that. They're not personable. They don't listen that well. What I like to do differently is again, really connecting and really getting to know people. I get to know their families. I get to know, their personal lives. And that's how I can help people the most is if they're open with me, they feel open and they feel they can tell me things that I'm not going to judge them, so. And
I've like been able to tell you about the DMT, about the psilocybin, and a lot of like friends that I know, like, oh, yeah, tell them that I do like this illegal stuff. And I'm like, yeah, who's not going to tell the cops? I'm like, no, like you need to tell him because if he doesn't know you do that, you can like die. Like, you have to tell him. So like, I tell you like everything. And I
tell you, I give you my opinion when it comes to relationships.
Oh yeah, he's pretty harsh. I
go right there. I was like, okay, what did I tell you about this guy? Okay, it's your choice, but here's what I think about him from what I know of him, and But I think you've grown so much, and I've really been proud of how the what you've done and how you've gotten through things, and so it's been a pleasure to be your doctor.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be your patient.
And thank you so much for coming in.
I feel like your whole theory on your patients and your practice, like really getting to know them and learn about them, like that's why I love what I do too. As like a personal trainer,
advertise. Tell them your name and how to get a hold of you.
Oh, well, my
and what you do.
It's private. Like I'm not cool. I don't have I'm not an influencer or anything. But you can follow me under Morgan_A_Ross, and I'll gladly accept you if you send me a DM. Otherwise, I don't accept trolls or weirdos. So I like to know who's looking at my kids and stuff. And in the meantime, I work here in South Orange County in Laguna Beach, Dana Point area. And I practice Pilates, yoga, mindfulness. I do body work. And I also do like healing ceremonies.
You do meal prepping, and
Yes, meal prepping and private chef work too. That's one of my big. I mean, for me, like, because I'm a holistic health practitioner. Since I didn't get to finish college in Cal State Long Beach, I pursued going to a 1,000-hour holistic health practitioner program.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, down in Encinitas, California. It's called the Natural Healing Institute.
Wow.
It was so cool. Like, my teacher was so rad.
Wow.
Like, he would play classical music to his plants. And so, like, one time we had a session at his house about, like, we were just doing, like, clinical nutrition stuff. And everyone's like, oh, my God, what? But it was so cool because they actually, like, lived. Like, it's just amazing how nature is so in tune with humans and us with that, you know? And the mind-body connection is so fascinating to me, too. It's like I do it on, like, a integrative, like, holistic health way. You do it on, like, a medicinal
I do it on a
way.
neurochemical way,
Yeah, and, like, I think the combination of Eastern, Western together is a beautiful healing practice.
I agree.
And I just hope that more people open their minds to just not one or the other.
I agree.
Like, you don't have to do intuitive healing and, you know, like, yoga and all this, like, healthy eating. Like, you know, but you can also do that and have medication. And for me, that's where I think I became whole. It's like I didn't separate them anymore. I now integrated it. And I hope that more practices around the world do that.
My pastor, Chuck Smith Jr., I've had him on the show, actually, but he's really into contemplative prayer, meditation. And so when in his church, you know, he spends like the first 10, 15 minutes just silent meditation. He guides us through a guided meditation, and then we just sit quietly and nothing. Little music in the background.
That's so
you know, but yeah, he's very well known. Chuck, he was with Calvary Chapel, and his dad founded Calvary Chapel, but then he left Calvary, and now he's really into that. You know, meditation is how to learn how to relax, how to breathe. You know, it's really a lot, like you said, a lot of it's about breathing, and knowing how to breathe is essential.
Yeah.
You know, it really is. So.
It really is. And yeah, I mean, if anyone's interested in learning more about that, I'd be happy to help them. But I just think it'd be really cool if, like, I don't know, you did some sort of like yoga retreat or something.
Interesting.
Yeah, what if you did something like that with a shaman?
Yeah.
And there's like private meals, and then you can educate people in like a conference on what you do. I mean, yeah, he's the coolest.
Thanks, Morgan. Well, we appreciate you coming in to our office.
Thank you so much.
All right, you take care.
It was a pleasure to see you. Thank you.
Thanks. I hope you enjoyed the show today. If you have issues with mental health, or if you know someone who needs help, I'm available. If you want to contact my office, my website is drpaulcoronamd.com. That's DR for doctor. And you can also learn more about me on my website. My phone number, if you want to contact my office directly, is 949-481-0118. If you want to learn more about my methods and what I do, my latest book, I recommend The Corona Protocol, a scientifically proven medical solution to stop addiction, bullying, homelessness, school shootings, and suicide, 30 years in the making. In this book, I tell 30 original short stories about people. And I also have my first 3 books, Healing the Mind and Body, the trilogy, available online. I look forward to you joining me again on the next episode of The Dr. Paul Show.